Absolutely. Yeah. I think any author that isn't putting little bits of themselves into their books is missing out on some very real feeling fiction. Because, yeah, and it's funny. I was telling my brother and my aunt about this at one point at dinner. And I was like, yeah, and the twin's dead. And I was like, no, but it's not you. Like looking at my brother, like this is not about you. It's not about me killing you in fiction. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I can write about a lot of these complex feelings about being a twin because I am a twin. I can write about, this experience being a Reformed Jew in these situations because I am. Obviously, these characters are much more religious than I am, and that's okay. But it comes from a foundation of realism to an extent. But that's also how I like to write my characters. I don't like writing characters that don't feel like real people.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. It's the author podcast. We get to meet amazing people. And what's great is when people come on the show, and I love that. But then when they say, can I come back? You're like, well, we must have done something right because Ben is here and he wants to come back on the show. New book, new things to talk about, and a chance to reconnect with a great guest from the past. I'm super excited to have Ben back. Welcome, Ben. Congratulations on the new book coming out. Nice to have you back on the show. Welcome back.
Thanks, Dave. I am very excited to be back. Always good chatting with you.
Yeah. I love having great guests on, people who do great things or fun to talk to. So yeah, this is really good.
Appreciate it.
And you got a guitar hanging on the wall, which makes me feel really, really happy. So I like that.
I do. Actually, funny story. So this guitar it's an Electra. I don't know how because you're like a guitar guy, right?
Yeah.
So Electra at one point put out a special. This isn't that one, but so my brother collects electric guitars because our mom. So I'm an identical twin, by the way. So my identical twin brother. He collects electric guitars because our mom, who was like a hippie at Woodstock was friends with the relatively famous musical artist Leslie West.
Really?
And Leslie West, Electra put out a special edition guitar, like a model that was like for Leslie West.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is that an American guitar company then?
I think it was. I don't think they're in business. No. I don't believe so.
No.
So yeah, these are all like, will eventually be antiques, if not already.
Like us, right? Yeah.
Like us.
We're kind of on that path. I can speak for myself. I definitely am on that path, but yeah.
I say I've got more gray in my beard than I ever have before, Dave. So
there you go. It's just wisdom. That's just wisdom pouring out of you. That's all that is.
Yeah, we get more distinguished every day.
Well, we'll use that word. That's a good word. I like that one. Mm-hmm. Okay, you were on back episode 682 as I look at my notes, and now you're back again. It's nice to have you here. We always like to start off the show talking to authors who listen to the podcast. They're coming here for inspiration, education, whatever they can get from the authors who come on the show. And you're talking about using some ways to promote what you're doing and leveraging Facebook. Can you talk a little bit about what you're experimenting with?
Yeah, I can. I can also start off with, it's a question that all independent authors have, which is, how do I get my books out there? How do I get exposure to the audience that is supposed to be reading my books? And the question always comes up, should I pay for marketing? Like, should I actively market my book with ads or campaigns and things like that? And there's varying wisdom about that. And for the most part, if you are an author that only has like your debut, your one novel published, the best adage is books sell books. So it is more than likely going to be unprofitable for an author with one book to run ads on that book, because you won't make back enough money through sales to pay for the ads and come away. Like, you won't break even on your ads. And I speak as an author that did experiment a bit when I had one or even two books out, trying to run some ads. And I've run Facebook ads, I've done Amazon ads, I've done BookBub ads. And side note for authors, BookBub ads are different than BookBub featured deals. Oh, we can talk about that briefly too. So let's get through the ad business first. But now I have a 3-book series out. I then have another book that's a standalone. I have another book that is a series starter, and I'm soon to have another series starter. So it is potentially worth it for me to advertise my first series, not only because I can get potential so the thing that you care about is read through, meaning if someone picks up the first book, do they pick up the second and the third book?
Right.
And so advertising either the first book or the series, which there's varying opinions on that. I want to bring people to my body of work. Right. So I figured it was time to do that. And I've done it before, even with the series. And ads are rough because no one understands the system very well. There's a fantastic author and contributor. His name's David Gaughran. And he put together a Facebook ad series demystifying the process. And if I can sum up his video in like a sentence, it's basically ignore everything that Facebook tries to get you to do with their ads, turn off everything that's automatic, and target your ads at ebook readers. But that being said, the video is free, and you should absolutely go and watch David walk you through establishing a Facebook ad campaign. And it's very, very, very valuable. Whether or not I've got profitable ads, my ads are doing better than they have in the past. And he takes you through not just like how to set up the ad campaign, but also he's got videos on what a reasonably decent Facebook ad looks like, and whatnot. So great guy, great content. If you want to run Facebook ads, you should absolutely go and watch his content and test out the waters doing a campaign that way. So I've been running a campaign based on that video, which is his latest. Like, he did a new for 2026 demystifying Facebook ads because they've added a lot of automatic and AI nonsense into their ads.
Yeah.
So go get the latest and try that out. I will say comparatively, BookBub ads I'd gotten a little bit of response on, but they weren't really worth it. And Amazon ads were absolutely atrociously bad. And their system is even harder to understand how to get good performing ads. There are a million like ad schools. I think Brian Cohen is one of the really well-known like Amazon ad school gurus. And even following his advice, I've never managed to get an Amazon ad to work properly. Really? So yeah, it's a weirdly common wisdom of Facebook ads are the ads that tend to be the easiest to make profitable in some way. But also a lot of people hate feeding that machine. They also hate feeding any of the machines. So there are other ways to get your book seen, one of which is BookBub featured deals. So see what I did there?
Yeah, well done.
That's called a segue. BookBub featured deals are where you can offer your book for either free or discount. And then BookBub will basically blast out your book in a newsletter to all of their subscribers. And then people will then hopefully either download for free or purchase your book for like 99 cents. And I have done a BookBub featured deal for my first book. I did it before I had the other books out, which was not a smart move on my part because I didn't really understand the best way to benefit from that. Right. I think I actually would like to do one again at some point, even just for that same book once a year or two has gone by. But yeah, BookBub feature deals are another good way of getting your books out there, especially if you have series that are going to benefit. Like if you give away a book for free and then discount the other books in your series, or even don't, you're still going to get people who pick up the first book and then either buy the rest on discount or pick up one or two for regular price. So
Okay.
there's a lot of different ways to potentially get your books out there, but this is like one of the most common and hardest things to do.
The Facebook platform, are you seeing a change to the people that are on Facebook? Because from a podcasting perspective, I'm finding that Facebook is seeming to age a little bit as far as the audience who's on Facebook actively. And I'm seeing some of my younger audience members not as much on Facebook. Are you seeing that at all from a author's perspective when you're doing your campaigns?
I would have to have an audience connect with me to figure that out,
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
I will say I have not had very much luck establishing a presence on pretty much any social media, partly because I have to be honest, I don't prioritize being active on social media over things like writing more books. And it's a toss-up. I see a ton of authors out here being content creators, and I salute you. I hate every second of it. Like I enjoy doing things like this because this is us having a conversation, and I love it. I hate just making like posts and videos trying to engage with an audience that is out there in the ether. I will say I absolutely do understand that Facebook is skewing older because it is like one of the oldest social media platforms that still exists.
Yeah.
But like if you care, even if you're talking about Facebook ads, you can target Instagram with your Facebook ads.
Yeah.
So like Instagram is a allegedly much more popular place for engaging with a bookish audience. I just still haven't managed to connect with enough book people there, I guess.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because that's interesting. You want to go where your audience is, right? So you got to find out where they are so that you can talk to them. And I do know that Facebook will give you some analytics about who's seen it, who's interacted, a little bit of that, but
Yeah, it's not very good.
No. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Like, I think that's one of the most common things I hear from authors is what to do after the book is published. And you get lots of support in the process of writing and editing and all that. But when the book's done and you have a box of them on your kitchen table, it's up to you to kind of go out there now and talk about the book. So I love podcasting, as you can tell, because I have a show. But podcasting is one way. And any way you can get out there and see people and talk about what you do, it's going to help. So it's good.
Yeah, if we want to talk briefly about other ways to help promote your books. So one of the things that's happening right now, and I'm sure we'll talk about the newest book, but my latest upcoming release is in what's called, it's in ARCs, which is, I always think it's weird how we verb everything, but ARC is advanced review copy.
Okay.
So an ARC campaign is when you provide advance copies ahead of publication to readers who will read it and then ideally drop reviews on various sites on release day.
Okay.
So, for example, this latest book, which is called My Brother's Keeper, I started advanced reviews mid last month, and I opened up pre-orders just at the beginning of February, because that also opens up the Goodreads listing. So when you start a pre-order, that activates Goodreads and will allow people to leave advanced reviews on Goodreads. So like authors sometimes discount too much the importance of having real reviews of your books.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, if I go to an independent author's book and I see nothing but 5-star ratings, and I go look at those reviews, and it looks too much like your readers are probably your friends and family, I don't know. It doesn't mean that you didn't write a good book. It just means that you didn't put any effort into getting real people unaffiliated with your work to weigh in on a critical reception kind of way. So, like, running ads are good, But if you run ads for a book that has 2 reviews on it, people don't want to take a chance to read a book that has 2 reviews, even if those 2 reviews are 5 stars. So like, it is really important, not from an algorithm perspective, because there used to be this urban myth that if you got 50 reviews, then Amazon would start like promoting your book. And that's just not true. Honestly, I don't know if it ever was true, but it's not important that you get 50 reviews. It's important that you get a mix of reviews that are realistic, that actually give a critical understanding of whether the intended audience for your book thinks that it's good. So before you run ads, you should make sure that you have enough ratings and reviews of your books that it gives it some weight, you know?
Right. And I think for the readers that are listening, that are not authors, that's where they come into play, right? So when we talk on this show all the time, encouraging readers to leave a great review, go beyond great author, great book, but something substantial from the book that's meaningful for you as well, because then it doesn't feel like an auto-generated reviews and gamed a little bit. It's a real person saying, in chapter 3, I really loved how the character did this kind of thing, and I really love how this, right? But they give something more specific in their reviews.
Right, but let's talk about hierarchy of reviews. Like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs targeted at book reviews.
Okay, I like this.
Right?
Okay, good.
The base level, food and shelter, is rating the book. At the bare minimum, we want you to leave a star rating. However, star ratings are in fact not meaningful in a helping readers to understand what the book is about way. Right. So like, I would almost say, if we're talking about it a little bit idealized, food and shelter is rate and give a short review. This book was great. 5 stars, 4 stars. I enjoyed this book. 3 stars. Fine. That is the base level of the Maslow's hierarchy of book reviews. Next is give something a little bit more in the review to help understand what you liked and, frankly, what you didn't like. I thought the main character was great. I didn't love a couple bits of the plot, but overall, this is a great read for me. 4 stars.
Yeah.
That's a good review.
Yeah.
Next level up is giving some sort of substantive critical feedback. And by critical, I don't mean bad.
Yeah.
I mean like using your critical mind.
Yeah.
So, to your example, I loved in chapter 3 where the main character did this. No spoilers.
Yeah.
You
right.
know?
Yeah.
Or even if you're going to go deeper and say, I like that the character struggled. I felt like some of this wasn't earned. Is like, that means you read the book. That means not only did you read the book, it means you have feelings about the book.
Yeah.
And so, it gets to there. We really, as an author, the most important thing you can do is just rate and review the book, even if it's short. So like the bar is on the floor, bare minimum. Please do that. And don't feel like if you can't give a substantive review, that you can't give a review. Just give a review. Please, I'm begging you to review these books.
And then there's that high level where I read the book, I left a review, but I keep thinking about it. Like, it pops into my mind during my week when I'm just like, my mind is idle. The book comes back to me. And a character comes back to me. Like, I can't escape it. Like, it's like the book is inside of me, and I'm just reliving it because I connected so well. It's hard to put that into a review because it happens over a period of time, right? That's like you falling in love with this book.
So here's a little hint, though. You can edit your reviews. Yes. If you dwell, and so for the record, I have readers of my latest book who this book lives rent-free in their head. You can go back to your review a month later and say, you know what? Edit. This book haunts me. You can share it on social media.
Yeah.
You can join a urban fantasy readers group. You can join a fantasy book readers group, and you can share your favorite books with other people to let them know that they should read these books.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to be a super fan, don't just rate and review the books, but then share the books with your friends and family and the people that you know, because I don't know your friends and family, so this is all fair game.
Yeah. Yeah, that word of mouth, those recommendations when it comes to music or TV or movies. It's like, oh, I know Ben, and I know Ben loves this type of movie. I saw a movie. Ben, you got to go check it out, right? That has more weight than anything else, I think, because it's personalized and we know each other, right? So I think don't sleep on your word of mouth reviews and passing that on in your recommendations to others. That's also a big thing too.
100%.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the new book. And can you tell us a little bit more about the story and maybe kind of the origin, the idea of the book? Let's get into this. Let's talk about this new baby of yours. Come on.
I can and will. So this book is called My Brother's Keeper, and it is intended to be the first in a series, but the series is going to be kind of a little. It might be a bit loose. I haven't decided yet. So the series is called The Cycle of Ash, but the first book is called My Brother's Keeper. And the story starts, and so this is no spoilers. It happens on the first page. You find out that Max Asher has come home to bury his twin brother Solomon.
Oh.
This all takes place still in New Haven, Connecticut, because all of my books take place in alternate realities of New Haven, Connecticut, but this one focuses on Jewish magic and mysticism. I myself am Jewish, and but both sides of my family are Jewish. So like I'm as Jewish as I need to be to write this book, but like I was raised Reform, and I was bar mitzvahed, but I haven't been to temple in decades, other than like on business. And so I'm kind of reconnecting with my family culture to an extent. In this book. So the magic itself, the magic system, is by the book scripture. Like there is a ridiculous amount of demonology and magic in Hebrew, in like Jewish scripture. Specifically, a lot of it is in a supplemental book called the Talmud. And yeah, so I based the magic in this world, and this is why it crosses genre or like subgenres. So this is an urban fantasy book, but it has a gritty noir feel to it because Max is a private eye, and it trends towards magical realism because the magic is grounded in the religion.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, the plot of the book really is around Max trying to, like, in short order, Max understands that something hinky has happened with Solomon's passing, which then becomes the focus of the book. There's political intrigue, there's standard private eye hijinks, there's a cat named Dirt. So it's got something for, well, the line in the book is, this is what happens when you let a 3-year-old name a cat. There's found family. The widow of Solomon is Gabby, and Gabby has her son Jacob, who's nine, I think, in the book. And so, Max has to be Uncle Max in addition to all of the other stuff. So there's a lot of different elements. And the thing that lives rent free in people's head about this book is there's a twist, and a good chunk of the readers who normally see twists coming did not.
Really? As you're rattling off your characters and a cat, I'm like a checkbox as you're going through. I'm like, well, you have a twin. You love cats. Like, there's so many things going on here. So it's not based on you, but it's based on kind of your world. like your own personal world a little bit, like if for some kind of reference points, you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I think any author that isn't putting little bits of themselves into their books is missing out on some very real feeling fiction. Because and it's funny, I was telling my brother and my aunt about this at one point at dinner, and I was like, yeah, and the twin's dead. And I was like, no, but it's not you. Like, looking at my brother, like, this is not about you. It's not about me killing you in fiction. Don't worry about that. But yeah, it's I can write about a lot of these complex feelings about being a twin because I am a twin. I can write about, this experience being a Reformed Jew in these situations because I am. Obviously, these characters are much more religious than I am, and that's okay. But it comes from a foundation of realism to an extent. But that's also how I like to write my characters. I don't like writing characters that don't feel like real people.
And then I guess the other part too, from an author's perspective, I had somebody on recently, and they're like, they were struggling with the idea of writing what you know, because they were writing in a fiction, right? They're like, well, I've never been on another planet. So to write, I don't know anything about that because I've never been to another planet. And instead of focusing solely on writing what you know, focus on what you love, like what interests you, right? And that can be the foundation of your story as an author as well. So yeah, it's kind of a back and forth on the write what you know, write what you love.
It is. You have to do both. But my background, I have background in acting, which is also why I do the audiobooks. But you don't have to have visited a new planet to know what it feels like to experience something new.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to have visited France you don't have to have visited Paris to remember what your first time in a big city felt like.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like anyone who thinks that they can't write X because they haven't done Y is ignoring the fact that they actually did Z, which is really you can draw on those things to put people care about depth of emotion and depth of feeling. And you don't have to have been to Paris to describe the butterflies in the character's stomach when they step onto the, Champs-Élysées.
Yeah.
And it's write what you know doesn't literally mean write what you know. It means use every bit of your guts to inform what it is that you're writing about.
It's a good perspective. I like that because, a love story is a love story. Where it's set, that's another conversation, but there's still that human emotion, that feeling, and just transporting it into a different context.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't know if I could write a romance. I've never had an epic love story like that. It's like, no, but have you loved someone? Have you I feel like we've all loved someone enough that it hurt.
Yeah.
And if you can't tap into that, then maybe writing is not the profession that you're looking for.
Well, you could love your cat and have a love for your cat, and that could be the foundation of that relationship, right?
And then it's paranormal romance.
There you go. It's right. Okay, so tell me more about the kind of the characters then. Is there a relationship between the two brothers? Oh, no spoilers, but is there a relationship between the brothers? Are they close?
Well,
and this death separates them? Is there something to that part?
Again, a lot of this is revealed in chapter 1, so
Okay.
I'm happy to talk about it.
Okay, good.
So no, they are brothers who were estranged, and Max is coming home from where he lived in Chicago, which is a subtle nod to Harry Dresden because Dresden's based in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So this PI was there, but he's back in New Haven, dealing with his family. But no, they're estranged, to the point where Solomon, his brother, they're estranged in the kind of way where there are no pictures of Max in the house, kind of estranged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's story behind it as well that we're going to unpack.
Yeah,
as we go.
there is, and Max does muse on some of that as he's going through the motions of trying to piece together what happened.
Okay, so who are you writing to? Like who do you have in mind that's going to just love your characters, love this story?
This is an interesting one because urban fantasy is almost always a combination of elements. One of which is a very common trope, which is the private investigator. Like that exists in both urban fantasy, but also in like crime, noir, PI kind of thrillers.
Yeah.
This book will appeal to all of those people.
Nice.
So if you don't love magic, you will probably still love these characters and the mystery of it. As long as you can accept that magic is a thing that is real and plays into what's going on.
Okay.
But yeah, if you like found family, you will probably like the developing interpersonal relationships between Max and his sister-in-law, Gabby, who's trying to raise Jacob now on her own, and needs his help. And all the while, they're trying to figure out what happened to Solomon and his death. And Solomon himself was kind of a community organizer, so has deep ties in the community, as well as some of the ongoing political races. So there's politics in this too, to an extent. And I actually had, and this is interesting because I had an early reader who's already posted this review on Goodreads. So I'm not sharing anything that doesn't exist in public. But they feel like the political figures are not nuanced enough. And I just want to remind people just how unnuanced actual politics are. And that don't be surprised that my politicians are not good people. And it may simply be because they are bad people with a lust for power. So like if you like those kinds of political intrigue where the politics are messy and are not necessarily altruistic, it all feeds into that kind of darker noir feel. The opening scene is a funeral in the rain. So it's got that like heavy feeling to it.
Okay. All right. And then for the people that are falling in love with this book, how is this kind of like an introductory to the series? Like, is this foundational? This book is going to take us through.
So every book that I write, I wrap up the story that book is trying to tell.
Okay.
So even in the series that I've got going, like my The Devil You Know series, where I've got 3 books out, I've got a 4th one coming. Each of those books has a story to tell with the characters that are in it. But the story pretty much wraps itself up, and then the next one builds on that. So this book, for the record, I had not necessarily planned to make this a series. I originally thought that this book might have to stand alone because of the way that the book runs its course. And the reason why I'm calling it the cycle of Ash is because it is possible that future books in the series may not focus on Max as the main character. It may be that there's a through thread that this book establishes, kind of an overarching goal that Max has other than just the death, that future books can explore with other characters. That doesn't mean that Max isn't going to come back. I'm still like working through reader feedback because I feel like I would be doing a disservice to readers that fall in love with Max as a character.
Right.
And I don't mean literally like a book boyfriend fall in love. Like he's a messy dude. You probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But of course, that's the messy dudes are the ones that people love to have as book boyfriends. But Max, he may, people who fall in love with his character arc, they may not want to read a second book if it doesn't have him as like the main character. So I'm waiting for some more feedback from my readers. So, if you're one of my readers and you've read this book or you plan to, let me know. Can book 2 survive without Max, or is Max an absolute necessity and you'll boycott if not?
Now, what I love hearing while you say these things is your commitment and your connection with your audience, because I don't hear a lot of authors talking about this. They write a book in solitude, they release it to the world and hope for the best. You seem to have a different approach. You really like to really community focused. You love getting feedback. You love reading those reviews. Your radar is up all the time, kind of pulling in information that helps shape your characters and your stories. That's on purpose, right?
It is. I mean, it's also, I'm a dopamine seeking individual just like anyone else. And whenever someone reviews any of my books, as long as it's 3 stars and has a reasonable, at least I enjoyed this book. Criticism, fine, I can take criticism, but like, did you like it? So I'll get my feelings hurt sometimes, and that's okay. But yeah, so I'm in this for the audience. I want my readers to enjoy these books. So if I have a really strong idea, like this book I wrote this book knowing what the twist was. And I wrote this entire book just so I could write that twist. And so no power in the verse could have stopped me from writing this book the way that it's written. That being said, continuing on from it, I've got ideas. And in the absence of feedback, I'm going to do what I want to do. But I absolutely do. You're right. I want feedback on what would be the best way to take this, because I'm not sold. I don't have a driving force like book 1 about what happens in book 2. I like this world and these characters enough and this magic system enough that I don't want to give it up. Like, there's so much more to tell. And that's why, like book 1, even if it stood alone, I want to tell more stories in this world.
A piece of feedback that comes to mind that changed your mind or changed your focus within the story, and you're like, had you not got that piece of feedback, you might not have written what you've written. Anything kind of come up from your audience or your ARC readers that shaped the telling of the story?
So ARCs are a little too late for feedback.
Yeah, okay.
So and again, for the authors out there, if you think you're going to get actionable feedback from your ARC readers, then you don't have ARC readers.
Okay,
you want beta readers.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I have engaged alpha readers, meaning like as soon as I finish a manuscript, before I touch it again, I have people who already want to read that book. And I will absolutely get feedback on like scenes and character development where it's like, this really feels like weak compared to what I see this character doing. And so like my second series, the Chronicles of Corbin Pierce, which is Let Sleeping Gods Lie, is the first book that came out at the end of October. During alpha reads of that book, I absolutely changed the way that the character reacted to certain things because an early reader said like this felt out of character for him. And I said, you know what? You're right. I was wallowing in whatever this was happening when I wrote it. And you're right. This guy wouldn't do that. This would be different. And so it doesn't necessarily change like where it's driving, but it definitely changes like how it gets there.
Yeah, because I have one author on, he wrote a book, his first book, and he purposely did like a slow burn, like to set the world, create the space, all that stuff on purpose. And the feedback was too slow. And he's like, well, that's exactly what I was trying to do. So the next book, he went the opposite way, and people were giving him the opposite feedback. It's too fast.
Too fast.
Right? So he's trying to write based on what people are giving feedback on. But at the same time, it's your story, right? Mm-hmm. We as readers are the ones who are going to have to adjust because you're the one who wrote it. But I do love the fact that you're open and you're reading your feedback. That's good.
So funny thing about pacing, there are tools that you can use to try and make sure that the pacing in your book is good. And some people hate it, some people love it. But I use a beat sheet based on Save the Cat Writes a Novel. And and this is where people misunderstand what a beat sheet is for. A beat sheet is not a formula that tells you what to write or how to write it. A beat sheet tells you at what point in the arc of the story should you be from a traditional storytelling standpoint. So, if I, let's say, and authors, fellow authors, I am speaking directly to you, estimate a word count, but also estimate a realistic word count. And I'm going to complain for 1 second.
Here we go.
Debut authors, please stop writing 150,000 word books. I love you. You're great. Your books are probably fantastic. I personally have a hard time reading or listening to very, very long books. And if this is your debut novel, you're going to need to do a lot of things to it. And the longer it is, the more painful it's going to be to fix things if someone says the pacing is off.
Right.
But if you are going to write a 150,000 word novel, that's fine. You can still use a beat sheet because it still tells you at 75,000 words, you should have done these things at roughly these times. Yeah. And if you haven't done that, your pacing is probably not fantastic. However, a beat sheet doesn't mean your pacing is going to be good or that anyone is going to agree about it. Yeah. Let Sleeping Gods Lie. One review, nonstop thrill ride. Another review, this novel has an unrelenting pace. Another review, this novel started out really slow. Another review, I struggled with the pacing of this novel. Another review, this novel was paced perfectly. Absolutely no one agrees about the pacing of my book, Let Sleeping Gods Lie. Which brings me to my most important feedback to every author ever, which is you cannot make everyone happy.
Right.
People who like slow burns aren't going to like unrelenting thrill rides. People who like unrelenting thrill rides aren't going to like slow burns.
Yeah.
And you literally cannot make them both happy with the same book.
Right.
So don't try.
Yeah.
Write your story. Pace it how you want it to be paced. Unless, of course, like you said, this is a debut author. Maybe they don't really understand pacing yet from that standpoint. And so they took that feedback a little too much to heart. And so they gave an unrelenting thrill ride when they're writing epic fantasy that really wants some world building and some thrill and some this. But yeah, you can't please everyone and don't try.
Because I've had authors on that don't really have a target audience they're trying to write to. It's like, I just write my story. And the people who find it and they love it are my people. And I'm like, okay, but I know in podcasting, I have to know who my audience is. I need to know who I'm talking to. Otherwise, I have no idea to know if I'm actually on the right path because I have no feedback. I have no way to know, right? So you kind of have to know a little bit about your audience, especially when it comes to the pacing part, right? And things like that. So having some kind of concept of who this book is for at some point in the writing process is going to help you to some degree. Is that right?
It is. There are genre conventions that are important, but again, you are right, and also your authors that come on and say, "I just write my stories," are right, depending on what they care about and why they're doing this. If you don't care who your audience is, but you also don't care about finding an audience, then write your 200,000 word speculative fiction book about snails. Do whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you don't care, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you do care, the moment you start caring, you can't tell me that genre expectations don't matter.
Right.
The moment you start wondering where your audience is, you can't tell me that it's not important to understand who your potential audience is. And so, like, my books are urban fantasy. Urban fantasy has genre expectations. It has magic in it. Great, I've got that. It has some amount of action in it, usually. Great, I've got that. It may or may not have romance in it. Some of my books do, some of my books don't. But I want I want a target audience. And
Yeah.
so I do try to make sure that I'm meeting genre expectations to a degree for things like world building and pacing and covers and characters and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can only say the words, I don't care about any of that, if you don't care about any of the results that come from understanding who your potential audience is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You said the book's coming out March 30th is the release date.
March 30th.
What else are you doing besides coming on Living the Next Chapter to talk about the book? What else are you doing to promote?
Well, despite this extremely important visit to Living the Next Chapter,
Thank you.
so I'm doing ARCs. So that ARC campaign is really a big part of my marketing because reviews help sell books.
Yep.
Because if I don't have enough reviews on release day, then no one's going to believe that it's a good book. So it doesn't matter what I do after that if it just languishes with no stars. So that being said, working on that. It's currently got 6 ratings and 7 reviews on Goodreads at like 4.6 stars or something. Great. I'm making other appearances. I'm going on other podcasts and
How
other
dare you?
TikTok lives. I am a 2-timing harlot, Dave. I am an opportunistic barnacle. Yeah. I'm doing other things. I will say, can I shout out another podcast?
Oh, please,
on here?
come on. Let's go. Yeah.
So the Fantasy and Sci-Fi Fanatics with Daniel Kulba. I am doing a release party with him and a few other podcasters.
Nice.
So we're going to be doing a big thing the first week of April. So like the book comes out March 30th, but I think it's April 6th. I'll have to double check that date. But we're doing like, it's him, it's the Bearded Book Beast, Triple B, and at least one other podcaster, if they can make it. We're going to be doing like a release launch party, like 1 or 2 hour kind of thing, talking about the book.
Nice. There you go. That's great. Will that information be on your website at all? It's for people that are wanting to come be a part of that?
I will make it available through both my website and social media. So yeah, benschinkman.com, and then find me with all my socials. From there, I've got a links page that'll take you to all my stuff.
See how we did that? We tied that right in really well at the end. I love that. It's good. I'm on your website while we're chatting. I'm like, it's a beautiful website. Everybody needs to go. Ben, one thing you're excited about this spring, outside of writing, outside of your worlds that you're building, just something exciting that you're looking forward to this spring. What is it?
Besides spring itself, I live in New England. And I am so tired of moving snow. I mean, you're in Canada, so you get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for spring itself. I'm actually excited. So my partner has been in massage school in April, it'll be a year. And come spring, they're going to be done with their like classes, like academic portion. So I'm looking forward to them being done with that.
Do they bring their homework home with them and practice on you?
Believe it or not, for like the first 6 months, they are told explicitly to not massage anyone at home because they don't want them to like work themselves into having bad habits.
Oh. Okay.
So I get that to an extent. But yeah, I actually, for my birthday, which was in December, my partner has I effectively have a coupon for a massage that I'm going to redeem shortly.
You get a free massage with every book that you write. How's that?
I mean, I at least get a shot of whiskey for every book that I write. Have I told you I have a tradition?
No, I need to know about this.
So I got this actually off of in general. So there's a Facebook group, love it or hate it, called 20 Books to 50K, because there was this common wisdom that this guy, I think it was Craig Martell, but either way, they popularized this idea that once you've written and published 20 books, you should then be able to get like a sustaining like $50,000 a year income it's a lie. It doesn't actually work that way because it's genre dependent.
Yeah.
It's so dependent on everything. Like the only people who are doing that, as far as I'm aware, are romance authors and lit RPG authors, and I don't write either of those things.
Yeah.
So, but either way, this group has a great little thing, which is every time someone hits the end of writing their draft, they post a picture of themselves, like they post a picture of like the last bottom bit of their manuscript that just says like the end, and then like what they're drinking. And for some people it's alcoholic, for some people it's non, which there's no judgment about that. So I took that and I saw somewhere there's a delightful copper pot whiskey called Writer's Tears.
Good name.
And so I had to buy myself a bottle, and I restrict myself to I have a tipple of Writer's Tears when I finish writing a manuscript or I finish recording or editing an audiobook.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Does it taste like Writer's Tears?
I mean, it's not salty enough for that. I'll tell you that much.
Well, good. I love traditions, and I love that because it's like I think the one thing I like to encourage my authors that come on is to take their victory laps, because you get through all this process, you write, you share your story, it gets out there in the world, and you just start the next one. It's like, you know what, like in racing or whatever, they give you the flag, they say, take another lap and celebrate, right? And I don't think we do enough of that. So I'm glad to hear that you have a routine that honors all the hard work that goes into writing your books. I like that. Yeah,
and you're right, we don't. I think too much focus is on the doing and not on the succeeding at having done something. Like what the statistic is, like less than 1%. It's not even 1%, but some minuscule percentage of the population will ever publish a book. And the thing that a lot of people forget, because we're all in writer spaces and reader spaces, and so it feels like everyone's writing books. The reality is no one's writing books. And so accept that if you're writing a book, you're already a hero. Yeah. If you've written a book, you're a bigger hero. If you've published that book, now granted, if you write not to publish, that's fine. But like if you've managed to publish a book, you're like the biggest damn hero, and accept that you have done something extraordinary.
And then you sell a book. Wow. That's like even the next, right?
Yeah, sell a book, get a review from someone you don't know. Like that actually hits different.
And celebrate. I love it. Ben, thank you for celebrating with us on the launch of your new book. Come back often because you have lots to talk about. And it's always great to have you on my screen and reconnect and share your story. I love meeting and having ongoing conversations with great authors like you. So thank you for making time for the show again.
No, thank you, Dave. This was great.
Excellent. All information as always. You know we do this in the show notes. When you buy Ben's new book, coming out March 30th, you're going to leave a great review, as you've heard us talk about. And you're going to tell everybody why you love it so much. So everyone, that's your responsibility. I'm dubbing you to do that. And let's fill up Ben's glass with lots of writer's tears and celebration. Ben, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Dave.
Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here all the way to the end of the podcast. You are the best. livingthenextchapter.com is our website. If you're interested and you want to know more, go there, check out all our links. You can find everything to do with Living the Next Chapter all in one place at livingthenextchapter.com, including a calendar link. Yeah. So whether you want to come on the show as a guest and talk about your book and your writing and all that, or you just want to get together and have a virtual coffee with Dave, it's right there on livingthenextchapter.com. The calendar, my links, my buy me a coffee, because I love my coffee. Anything to do with Living the Next Chapter, you can find at livingthenextchapter.com. I would love for you to come and see what we're doing over there. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Drew, for being part of the show. Catch you on the next episode. Take care.